Oh my God, the season one of Lives in Europe is now officially over. I'm now happily vacationing in Slovakia, celebrating with my friends who have played such a massive role in supporting me along this way. We recorded 49 episodes together. I hope that you have found your favorites. I hope that you will also use the summer to catch up on the most favorite ones. I will share the most favorite moments of the season for me and maybe announce a little teaser for the next season. So it's been 49 episodes packed with interviews from people working in and around the European bubble in Brussels, around the European institutions, all of whom are super passionate about European policy making process, about co-creating European Union. And in the interviews, they were sharing what are their recipes for success. What is it that they do that keeps them tuned into their passion? How do they keep their own well-being? And what is their recipe for getting through the low moments and maybe sometimes reaching upwards and recreating themselves on their career path. We've talked about the stories of strong mind, strong body, strong soul. The strong mind stories were stuff like the absolute mental bravery of people who were recovering from terrorist attack in Brussels, burnout, Brexit depression, which is what many of us are going through right now. We've talked about strong body. How do you train for a marathon in a desert while keeping your full-time job and taking care of your family? How do you embrace the vulnerability when you need to use Pampers as an adult, continue doing your job? And how do you find the strength to then create a whole patients' rights activism movement around it? We've also talked about holistic healing of the body, which is much more than nutrition and what you stuff your body with. So are you still breathing? We are also talking about strong soul and healing our souls. How do we reignite our passion for public service, for servant leadership in the EU? And how do we create our new job inside of a bureaucracy, which may be confined with its rules, but still offers a lot of space for playfulness and vulnerability and creativity. We also talked about very hardcore EU stuff, such as how do you defend the most fundamental EU values, such as equality, obviously gender equality, but also racial injustice and religious freedom. We talked about politics and the involvement in national and European politics, and how do you pick your fights when you know that you want to show up as a much more stronger and greater self, and you're called to maybe transform the role that you play in the society, and how do you express the passion that you have for change making. We also learned very useful eucareer skills. Obviously, eucareers, how to get the job, how does the recruitment work, what are the skills of the future that everybody is invited now to invest into to stay competitive on the EU change-making market. We also looked at women empowerment through a series of interviews that was looking into stuff ranging from harassment and sexism at the workplace all the way to domestic violence, especially in times of COVID lockdown, when most of the security management and safety planning strategies cannot work simply because you may be locked down at home with the perpetrator of the crime. Also, we looked at entrepreneurship and how do you keep your business and online business flourishing if the world is under absolute lockdown, if you are called to repurpose your strategies and the business models. But it might be really hard if you're a solopreneur, if you've invested into building your business around your passion, which in our series was a theme of travel and tourism. And we've also looked at the skills related to your own self-expression, your public speaking, and how you use your voice to reach the audiences and create the impact that you want to create in the world. So these are just a couple of examples out of these 49 episodes that we managed to create together. I hope that you've got your favorites. Drop your comments underneath this recording if there are some specific takeaways, the episodes that have been most closest to your heart, which were most impactful for how you want to show up in the world. Don't forget to sign up to all channels. We are obviously available on YouTube under my Lucia Klestincova channel. So click on the red subscribe button and the bell next to it so that you are notified about future episodes. And also, obviously, Lights on Europe is primarily known as a podcast. So it's available on all podcast platforms, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you're using as your favorite platform. So make sure that you sign up and you check in on a couple of episodes from the past to tune into the mood that we're in. In the next season, season 2021, we might be repurposing and narrowing down the niche a bit further into the success stories of European change makers and what is it that makes new cultural leadership possible for those who have been courageous enough to show up and bring their pioneering and their new style of leadership to what we are basically trying to create in one way or another at the European playing field. So stay tuned. In the meantime, big thanks once again for all of you who have been part of this journey, because Lights on Europe wouldn't be here without you, without my closest circle of friends, family, and supporters, but obviously you as audience who are so generous with your support, giving me feedback, sharing your likes, your comments underneath the videos. And some of you have also contacted me with interest to spread the Lights on Europe content further in your communities at your universities or professional environments if you feel that the conversation about new cultural leadership for EU is important and relevant for your audience. So thanks a lot. Thanks once again. Drop your comments below, drop your hearts, share the episodes further, and invite everybody who's around you who resonates with the conversation around transformation of the European leadership, so that we build the community and advance the conversation about what is the nature of the leadership that we would like to see in the future in Europe, and what is the importance of the inner work and the tricks and tips and resources that make it possible for us to show up differently than it was the case in the past.